The equation of a curve is x cubed plus 2y cubed equals 3xy. Show that dy over dx is equals to that. So we have to derivate this implicit equation with respect to x. So the equation is x cubed plus 2y cubed equals 3xy. Okay. Differentiated with respect to x. So it's going to be 3x squared. There's also a dx over dx with it as well. But वो cancel होके 1 हो जाता है तो लिख नहीं रहा. Then plus 3 times 2 is going to be 6y squared. And this time there's going to be dy over dx with it. Equals 3 times, how do we derivate xy? We have to use the product rule, which I hope you guys remember. If we have f and g being multiplied with each other and we have to derivate this, then we derivate f and just multiply g with it, then a plus sign in between, you multiply f times derivative of g. So using the same rule, we're going to derivate x first, which is 1, and y just gets multiplied with it. Then a plus sign in between, and you write x times derivative of y, which is going to be dy over dx. So we have 3x squared plus 6y squared dy upon dx equals 3y plus 3x dy by dx. Okay. So bring dy over dx to the same side and 3y and 3x squared to the same side. So I'm going to write 3y minus 3x squared. And simultaneously, I'm going to take dy over dx common. And in the bracket, I'm getting 6y squared minus 3x. Now to make dy over dx the subject, I'm going to move the bracket to the other side. Dy over dx is going to take 3 common as well. So y squared minus x squared, and take 3 common in the denominator as well. Sorry, it's not y squared, it's just y. And we have 2y squared minus x. So when we cancel the 3 with 3, we get the required form y minus x squared upon 2, यहाँ पे square है, 2y squared minus x. So part 1 is proved. कोई question है तो please पूछो. All right. Part 2. Find the coordinates of the point other than the origin where the curve has a tangent which is parallel to the x-axis. So if a curve has a tangent which is parallel to the x-axis, let me just draw a random curve which will have a tangent at a point which is going to be parallel to the x-axis. So if that's the case, that means dy over dx is going to be equals to 0. If a tangent is parallel to the x-axis, that means it's a flat line, that means its slope is 0, that means dy over dx is 0. So equate this to 0, y minus x squared upon 2y square minus x equals 0. So it's going to be y minus x square equals 0. It's going to be y equals x square. Okay. If y is equals to x square, we can substitute it in the original equation and see what we're getting for x or y. इसमें substitute करते हैं. Let me just get यहाँ तक all good. Yes, you do get y is equals to x square at some point. All right. Substitute it in the original equation, which is x cubed plus 2y cubed is equals to 3xy. Okay. So replace y with x squared. So we get x cubed plus 2 times, instead of y, I'm going to write x squared, and then we cube it. Stylus ने जवाब दे दिया, equals to 3 times xy. So 3 times x squared. So we're getting x cubed plus 2 times, that's x squared power 3 times x squared bracket 3, so that's going to be x power 6 equals to 3x cubed. Okay, it's going to be 2x power 6 minus 2x cubed equals to 0. So I'm going to take 2x cubed common. So I get x power 3 minus 1. Equals to 0. So I'm getting x equals to 0 and x equals to 1 after taking cube root on both sides. So you get, first you're getting x cube equals 0 and x cube equals 1, and then you can take cube root on both sides. So you're getting x equals to 0 and x equals 1. Okay. So if x is 0, then y is also 0 from this equation. क्योंकि हमारे पास आया था y is equals to x square. So x is 0, then y is 0. And if x is 1, y is 1. So the coordinate they're talking about is 1, 1, because the question clearly said the coordinate other than the origin. So the other point is coming out to be the origin, where the tangent is parallel to the x-axis. And the other point is 1, which is the correct answer. Please ask questions if you have any. 13. The curve with equation y equals c power minus x sine x has one stationary point for which x is between 0 and pi. Find the x coordinate of this point. Determine whether this point is a maximum or a minimum. So, has one stationary point. Stationary point is where the derivative is 0. So we have to derivate this equation, get dy over dx and equate it to 0. Derivate this and equate it to 0. So part 1, we derivate e power minus x sine x. So dy over dx. We have to use the product rule here. So we start with derivating e power minus x, and derivative of e fx is e fx times f prime x. So it's going to be e power minus x stays the same, and then you derivate the power, and the derivative of that is -1, so I'm multiplying it with -1. And the second function stays the same, sine x. Then a plus sign, the first function stays the same, and you derivate sine x, which is cos x. And then you equate this to 0. So we're getting, let's take e power minus x common, and we get cos x minus sine x equals 0. So we're getting e power minus x equals to 0. Send e to the other side or take log on both sides, you get ln 0, which I believe is math error. So there's no solution there. For the next equation, we're getting cos x equals sine x, which means we're getting divide both sides with cos x. So we get, so let's write 1 here and sine x by cos x, which is tan x. So take tan inverse of x, and the domain is in the first quadrant. Oh, yeah, in the first two quadrants, 0 to pi. So the answer is going to be 45, which is pi by 4. So x equals tan inverse 1, which is pi by 4. So determine the x coordinate of this point. So at this point, there is going to be a stationary point where the derivative is 0. So x is pi by 4. Determine whether this point is maximum or minimum. So we know what to do. This is the equation of the first derivative, dy over dx. Derivate it again, and then substitute this pi by 4 in it. If you get a positive value, it's a minimum. If you get a negative value, it's a maximum. दोबारा से डेरिवेट करते हैं. So the first derivative is e power minus x cos x sin x. Cos x minus sin x. Derivate it again, so I'm going to use product rule again. आप इसको भी दोबारा से डेरिवेट कर सकते हो, बट इधर डिसएडवांटेज ये है कि 2 दफा प्रोडक्ट रूल यूज करना पड़ेगा. एक दफा माइनस ई माइनस एक्स साइन एक्स के साथ और एक दफा ई माइनस एक्स टाइम्स कॉस एक्स के साथ. So इस वाले फॉर्मेट में एक दफा प्रोडक्ट रूल यूज करना पड़ेगा. Let's do that. So it's going to be d square y upon dx square. So derivative of e minus x is e minus x times -1. So minus e minus x times the second function just gets multiplied. Then a plus sign. And we have e minus x. And then the derivative of the second function, derivative of cos x is minus sine x. And minus derivative of sine x is cos x. That's the second derivative. In that derivative, substitute x is equals to pi by 4 and tell me if we get a positive value or a negative value. जहां जहां एक्स है उसकी जगह पाई बाय 4 लिखो कैलकुलेटर में, रेडियंस में होना चाहिए वो, और इसकी वैल्यू निकाल दो। जैसे फर्दर मुझे लगता है सिंप्लीफाई कर भी सकते हैं, इफ यू ओपन द ब्रैकेट्स कुछ टर्म कैंसिल हो रही, आई थिंक उससे कैलकुलेटर में सब्स्टिट्यूशन ज्यादा आसान हो जाएगी, ऑल्दो यहाँ पे भी सब्स्टिट्यूट कर सकते हो, लेकिन अगर इसको हम एक्सपैंड करें तो मुझे लग रहा है कुछ टर्म्स कैंसिल हो जाएंगे। लेट्स सी, माइनस ई माइनस एक्स कॉस एक्स प्लस ई माइनस एक्स साइन एक्स माइनस ई माइनस एक्स साइन एक्स प्लस, सॉरी माइनस e minus x cos x. So this and this cancels out. So we're getting minus 2 e minus x cos x. That's a lot more simpler. You can substitute pi by 4 here and tell me कि negative answer आ रहा है कि positive answer आ रहा है. X equals pi by 4. This is the second derivative. Negative आना चाहिए. Just check the answer. It should be negative, some negative value. So the second derivative is going to be some negative value which is less than 0. So it's a maximum point. Okay, अगला part. अच्छा हो गया. That was the last part. So next question. The curve y equals ex upon cos x for x is, is less greater than minus pi by 2 less than pi by 2 has one stationary point. Find the x coordinate of the point. So again derivate करके equals to 0 करना. और quotient rule इधर use हो रहा है क्योंकि it's numerator divided by denominator. Okay. So dy over dx is going to be, if you remember the quotient rule, if you have f upon g, the quotient rule says न्यूमरेटर को डिराइव करके g उसके साथ ऐसे ही मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं, माइनस f मल्टीप्लाई करते हैं, g को डिराइव करते हैं और डिनोमिनेटर में g स्क्वायर. So let's use that rule. So numerator's derivative is still ex, does not change. Denominator is cos x, which you multiply here. Negative sign, numerator stays untouched, denominator has to be derived. Derivative of cos x is minus sin x. And in the denominator, we write cos square x. So we have e power x cos x plus e power x sin x upon cos square x. Okay, so take e power x common. So we have cos x plus sin x upon cos square x, and since we're discussing stationary point, equated to 0. So the denominator gets eliminated. Now we have either ex is equals to 0, and cos x plus sin x equals to 0. Take e to the other side or take natural log on both sides, you get ln 0 on one side. So that's going to be a problem. X equals ln 0 has no solution. And then cos x equals minus sin x. So, or let's write sin x equals minus cos x. Send cos x to the other side, so you get tan x equals minus 1. And the domain of tan is between minus pi by 2 and pi by 2. So 0 to 180 and 0 to minus 180. So here to here or here to here. That's actually all 4 quadrants. Okay, so let's find alpha first. Tan alpha equals 1. So alpha equals pi by 4. तो यहाँ पे भी हो सकता है. Tan is negative, in fact. Tan is negative in, we have add sugar to coffee. So tan is negative in the second quadrant. Tan is negative in the fourth quadrant. So one of these values would be this value, the other one would be this value. So एक आंसर आ रहा है x equals pi minus pi by 4, which is 3 pi by 4. और एक आंसर आ रहा है minus pi by 4. These two should be the answer. अच्छा, गलती की है मैंने कि the domain was between minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So pi by 2 क्या होता है 90 and minus 90. So domain ज़्यादा छोटी है. It's from here to here, यहाँ से लेकर यहाँ तक, in this direction, just the first quadrant or the last quadrant in this direction. So the only answer here is going to be minus pi by 4. 3 pi by 4 तो second quadrant में जा रहा है जो इसमें acceptable ही नहीं. So the only answer is minus pi by 4. Any questions? चलो 15 करते हैं. Perimetric equation of a curve are x equals to a 2 theta minus sine 2 theta is इसी तरह y be given. Show that dy over dx is cot theta. So we will have to use chain rule. Dy over dt, sorry, dy over dx equals dy by d theta times d theta by dx. ये करना है. So let's derivate the x first. x is a 2 theta minus sine 2 theta, which is just 2a theta minus a sine 2 theta. Okay. So dx over d theta find करते हैं. 2a is a constant, it's still 2a, and the derivative of d theta over d theta is 1. Minus a, now derivate sine 2 theta, that's going to be cos 2 theta times 2. So 2 times cos 2 theta. So we're getting 2a minus 2a cos 2 theta. So let's go check that. Okay. Okay, now we derivate y with respect to theta. That's going to be dy over d theta equals, let's write it as a minus a cos 2 theta. So dy over d theta is going to be, derivative of a is just 0, so constant, minus derivative of a sine 2 theta. So minus a, and then the derivative of cos 2 theta is minus sine 2 theta times 2. So dy over d theta is 2a sine 2 theta. Apply chain rule. 2a sine 2 theta is correct. All right, I'm going to apply chain rule, which was here. So dy over dx is going to be पहले dy over d theta, which is 2a sine 2 theta times d theta over dx, so reciprocal of this. So that's going to be 1 upon 2a मैं इसका common ले रही हूँ. So 1 minus cos 2 theta. So then the 2a and the 2a cancels out. And so far we're getting dy over dx equals sine 2 theta over 1 minus cos 2 theta. लेकिन हमने शो करना है कि ये इक्वल है किसके, cot थीटा. सो अभी आइडेंटिटी का क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा, आपको somehow prove that this is equals to cot थीटा. और cot थीटा बाय द वे क्या होता है, tan थीटा का रेसिप्रोकल, और tan क्या होता है, sin over cos. तो ये होगा cos थीटा by sin थीटा. So this is what you have to show, that this gets simplified to this. अब कैसे करेंगे, sin 2 थीटा का तो एक ही फॉर्मूला है, which is 2 sin theta cos theta. For cos 2 theta, we have a few formula. One of them is cos 2 theta equals cos square theta minus sin square theta. Then it's, if only in cos, it's going to be 2 cos square theta minus 1. And if you need it in only sine form, it's going to be 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So हम यूज कर लेते हैं, cos वाला यूज कर लेते हैं या sin वाला यूज कर लेते हैं, doesn't really matter. 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So we're getting 2 sine theta cos theta upon 2 sine square theta. So ये sine theta sine square cancel, 2 भी cancel, तो cos over sine होता है cot theta. So we've shown the required identity, prove the required identity. Okay, one more question. फ्राइडे तक इंशाल्लाह इस वर्कशीट को खत्म कर लेंगे और मंडे से इंटीग्रेशन स्टार्ट करेंगे, लेकिन इंटीग्रेशन नहीं हो सकती अगर आपको डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं आती। सो ऑलमोस्ट आप में से सभी ने बीच बीच में से लेसन्स मिस किए हैं, सो आई हैव अ प्रीटी स्ट्रॉन्ग फीलिंग के बीच में ना सबके मिसिंग लिंक्स हैं। So please cover all of that over the weekend. और मंडे को जब आओ तो सारी डिफरेंशिएशन अच्छी आती हो, क्योंकि जब डिफरेंशिएशन नहीं आएगी तो इंटीग्रेशन नहीं आएगी। क्वेश्चन 16. The equation of a curve is x cube minus x square y minus y cube equals to 3. Find dy over dx in terms of x and y. Part 1. Derivated, it's an implicit equation again. अब मैं थोड़ा डायरेक्ट काम कर रही हूँ। तो एक्स क्यूब को जब हम डेरिवेट करेंगे वी गेट 3x स्क्वायर, साथ एक dx ओवर dx भी आप लिख सकते हो, पर ना भी लिखो तो इट्स फाइन बिकॉज इट कैंसल्स एंड गिव्स यू 1 माइनस साइन, then inside the bracket I'm going to apply product on x square y. So that's going to be x square का डेरिवेटिव हो गया 2x, y साथ मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया, बीच में प्लस साइन, x square ऐसे ही लिख दिया टाइम्स डेरिवेटिव ऑफ y which is dy over dx. And then there's minus y cube, that's going to be minus 3yx square, but with it we have to write dy over dx and equate it to 0. Because this is 3 and when you derivate 3 you get 0. Okay, so I'm going to expand this 3x square minus 2xy minus x square dy over dx minus 3y square dy over dx equals 0. dy over dx की टर्म्स को साइड पे ले जाते हैं, राइट साइड पे x square plus 3y square dy over dx and 3x square minus 2xy. It's going to be 3x square minus 2xy upon x square plus 3y square equals dy over dx. Let me confirm कि ये ठीक है या नहीं. हाँ यही है. Alright. So we have dy over dx for part 1. Part 2 says find the equation of tangent to the curve at 2, 1. Giving your answer in the form ax plus by plus c is equals to 0. चलिए, तो अब y is equals to mx plus c लिखना है. dy over dx का expression already पता है, so we just have to substitute 2, 1 in it. So m is going to be 3 times, the point is 2, 1 again. So 2, 1 इसमें substitute कर लेंगे, तो 3 times 2 square minus 2 times 2 times 1 upon 2 square plus 3 times 1 square. ये जरा बता सकते हो क्या आता है?
मैम 8/7 आंसर है.
ठीक है, 8/7. So y equals 8/7 x plus c. अब c निकाल लो from 2, 1 या y minus y1 equals mx minus x1 भी यूज कर सकते हो, इसमें c नहीं निकालना पड़ता. Anyway, 1 is equals to 8/7 times 2 plus c. इसको रीअरेंज करो, सबट्रैक्ट वगैरह करो, तो c आता है, क्या आता है?
-9/7.
minus 9 by 7. Okay. So y equals m x plus c आ गया. However, question में special instructions है और वो है कि ax plus by plus c is equals to 0 की फॉर्म में लिखना. ये अपॉन 7 है इधर. सो एलसीएम तो ऑलरेडी लिया हुआ है 7 है. 7 को दूसरी साइड पे भेज देते हैं. 7y equals 8x minus 9. Now you rearrange. So 0 is equals to 8x minus 7y minus 9. That is the required format. 8x minus 7y minus 9. That's correct. Okay. कोई क्वेश्चन है तो प्लीज आस्क और होमवर्क में याद से 17 और 18 करने. See you guys tomorrow. Allah Hafiz.
Loves it.